Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the case of Catherine Nyokabi. This case happened back in 2021. I just want to highlight it because of the rising cases of femicide in the country, and it's just I don't want it to be a blink in the page. I want us to do something about it, and I'm hoping by covering this case we can be able to start making those small changes in our society. So with that much said, let's begin. Catherine Nyokabi was a 25-year-old girl. She had a 6-year-old child. She was a waitress at a hotel in Kahawa, described by her family as hardworking, cheerful, and very loving. Her father, when describing Catherine, said that her future looked promising. She had her whole life ahead of her, and it's quite sad that her life was snatched away at such a young age. We don't know much about her personal life, but that's what I was able to find in the reports. Now, the other party, Evans Karani, was 38 years old at that time. He's older now, definitely. A businessman and a sandbroker. He is married with 5 kids. Now, the story between Catherine and Evans goes like this. They were dating. It's reported they had dated for about 2 and 4 years. Most agree in 2 years, and they were quite committed to the relationship. So it seemed, if you're an outsider looking in, definitely seemed that they were quite committed to the relationship. Catherine seemed more serious of the pair. She was definitely in it for the long haul. And as for Evans, he wasn't dating in the very sense of the word dating, but he was clearly cheating on his wife with Catherine. Whether Catherine knew that Evans was married or not is up in the air. It's debatable. We don't know that. And sadly, she's not here to tell us. But what I want to make clear is that Catherine's family didn't know that Evans was married and has 5 kids. They didn't know. They found out about it, later. They found out about the whole situation later, which, as you can imagine, was quite shocking. But during their relationship, the family never knew that Evans was a married man. Now, as mentioned earlier, Catherine was invested in the relationship more than Evans. She had even gone to the lengths of introducing Evans Karani to the family as a suitor, potential husband, someone she intended to marry and settle down with. So she went ahead and introduced Evans to the family. All of them knew of their relationship. Even the grandma was looped into what was going on. Their relationship was described as tumultuous, rocky, with a lot of arguments. Catherine's father became involved in their relationship as a mediator. He would try and sort out their disagreements. According to him, he saw their conflicts as normal, like any old fight between a couple. So he would most of the time intervene, as he knew Catherine wanted to settle down with this man. He was in support of the relationship because of his daughter. He actually supported them, and he mediated like he was like the mediator or the counselor in the relationship. So he would intervene if at all they had any arguments. Let's get to the date of April 14th, 2021. Locals of Juja near Bob Harris Road noticed a car stuck in the mud. They got curious as no one, bothered about it. It was stuck in the mud and no one, came for it. They wondered who would leave a very pricey car in the middle of the road. And cars here in Kenya don't come cheap. So they wanted to investigate, who would do this, who would leave their car in the middle of the road. So they went near the car and looked in it and looked around the car, and while they were just investigating the scene there, 50 meters from the car they saw a body. It was covered in mud. Spooked, they immediately called in the police. The police got there, cordoned off the area, and started their investigation. They examined the car and saw bloodstains in it, and with the body just 50 meters from the car, the police theorized that the car and the body was somehow linked, and probably the car was involved in the homicide. So they tracked down the car, looked up its registration on the NTSA records, and found the owner. Now, here reports differ. Some say the police tracked him down, Evans Karani that is, by tracing his phone. Some say Evans Karani's friend had called in and tipped off the police of his whereabouts. Either way, Evans Karani was tracked down and caught. He was arrested in Githurai and brought in for questioning. Now, according to the police, Evans Karani allegedly confessed to the crime. Before he did, he had a request before confessing. It's reported he requested that his wife be present when he was confessing. You see, when you're at a police station, you're usually given one phone call. You get a call to call somebody. Usually people call their lawyers or call their family members to get them lawyers. But he chose to use that one call to get his wife to come to the police station so that he could confess in front of her. The audacity. The audacity, really. You can imagine his request is like this: I want to call my wife, who I've been cheating on, to be present when I'm confessing to the murder of my side chick. If I was her, I wouldn't show up. But who am I to say, or what have I got to say in this? So the wife showed up, but boy, was she in for a wild ride. She actually showed up at the police station. Now, his confession went something like this. This is what happened on the 13th of April, 2021. Evans Karani called Catherine Nyokabi for a date night. He wanted to take her out that night. His reason for calling, or for arranging the meeting, was that he wanted them to talk about their issues, sort out their relationship. There was a falling out between the pair 2 weeks prior. They had a major argument and they broke up, and a reason for their breakup: first of all, Catherine's family had found out about his marital status and they had opposed the two being together. And another reason, Catherine wasn't very happy with how things were going, and her dad had told her to let the relationship go. If she wasn't happy about it, she had broken it off. And another reason that Evans wanted to meet with Catherine is because he wanted to make her delete a photo she had taken with another man. After the falling out, after the argument, Catherine had started dating someone else. She had moved on. So that kind of hurt him, and he wanted to make her delete the photo so that, they could reconcile. That's why he arranged the meeting. So, just to emphasize this, Catherine definitely had moved on, started dating another man, but Evans Karani wasn't happy about it. And with Catherine now moving on with another man, he saw that as cheating, according to him. But remember, they had broken up, so Catherine was just in the right to date another person. But Evans was quite hung up on their relationship, and he didn't like the fact that she was moving on with another man. So he arranged the meeting to delete the photo and to try and convince her to stay with him, sort out their issues, see how they can convince the family to let them be together. So that's the reason why they were meeting. There was an argument, he wanted to sort it out. That's why he had arranged the meeting. Evans had called Catherine, but Catherine had her reservations about this meeting. According to one of her friends, Anne Wanja, Catherine didn't want to meet up with Evans because, she was over him, she was moving on. But she eventually agreed to meet, and she had even asked for some money to be sent over for her hair, and she agreed to meet with this man. Now, on to the meeting. The meeting took place in his car. Why this was, we don't know. I'm assuming due to COVID. At that time, COVID was still a thing. There was lockdown. People were still being locked in. So that could be another reason why they were hanging out in his car. I don't know. But the meeting was taking place in his car. Now, for the meeting, Evans brought Catherine's favorite drink. It may seem sweet, if you look at it, it seems sweet, very thoughtful, but that was quite sinister. He told her he brought the drink so that they could relax and talk about themselves, their relationship. They hung out in there and drank, but do note that Evans wasn't drinking that much, but he made sure that Catherine never ran out of a drink. He kept that up until Catherine was totally drunk. She could barely move or talk. That was his plan all along, and he succeeded in his plan. When he saw Catherine in this state, he decided it was time to strike. So he removed his belt and tied it around Catherine's neck and began strangling her. He strangled her until she passed out. She was not moving at this point, but he kept at it. And when he saw that, she wasn't moving, he decided to switch the belt out with a rope. He had a rope for some reason in his car, and he switched out the belt with the rope that he had in his car, and then reclined Catherine's seat and continued. He kept going. He continued. He kept going. He wanted to make sure she died, that there was no coming back from this, making sure she was dead. And according to him, he said that he wanted to finish the job. He wanted to make sure that, the job was done, according to him. He refers to this as the job, which I think is very odd, very creepy, very psychopathic. You don't refer to killing someone as a job, but he said that he wanted to make sure that the job was done, or he finished the job. Now, after strangling her, making sure that she was, dead, he let go, and suddenly his senses came back. And now he realized he has a dead body in the car and he needed to do something about it. So he started driving around looking for a place to dump the body. He drove heading to Juja. His intentions were to dump the body in a wooded area so that animals could get to the body first, consume the body before it was found, essentially to destroy the evidence before the police got to the body. Fortunately, his plans didn't work, and nature intervened. It had been raining, and near Bob Harris Road it was quite muddy, that his car got stuck in the mud. So he tried, but the car couldn't move. And remember, he tried so hard to make the car go forward, but it couldn't. The car was stuck. Remember, he had a body in the car. Not like he can just ask random people to help. Plus, it's late at night. Who's even around to help? So using his great wit, there in quotes, he decided he was going to remove the body from the car and bury it someplace far from the body, thinking they'll never know it's related to the car. They'll never know it's him. But that didn't go well. So before removing the body from the car, he mutilated it. He used a knife he had with him to cut up her fingers, her face, and he really mutilated the body. And in the autopsy report, it's reported that it said that Catherine's body looked tortured. She had blunt force trauma, so he did further damage to the body before even bringing it out of the car. And then to top it off, he poured acid on her face to disfigure it so that nobody would be able to identify her. And he did that to the body first before removing it from the car, and then he did. Now, he removed the body from the car, dragged it 50 meters from the car, and now, because he didn't have a shovel or he didn't have anything to dig with to bury the body, he decided that he's going to cover it with mud and that would conceal the body. That really didn't work. He then left the scene, left his car behind, and he fled, trying to get away with the murder. Then the rest, what we've described earlier, the rest happens. He was tracked down and then arrested. That was his confession. Remember, his wife was in the room while he was making this confession, and the wife's reaction was absolutely bizarre. I know she was shocked, but boy, I don't know, man. She said that she couldn't believe it, that what he said wasn't true, and that she knows him. He couldn't hurt a fly. He just murdered someone. He cheated on you, murdered someone, mutilated the body, poured acid on it, and you're saying he can't hurt a fly. He literally just confessed, but she kept defending him. Maybe she was shell-shocked, I can understand, but I don't know. I don't think I would be supporting someone who cheated on me and then murdered his girlfriend and is now confessing. But who am I? What am I to say? What do I know about people's relationships out there? I don't know. Now let's get to the motive. Catherine, he's definitely, it's glaringly, it's obvious It's just out there. His motive definitely clearly is that, Catherine was moving on and he didn't want her to. The case of, if I can't have you, no one will. So he even said that Catherine came second to God. After God, there was Catherine and maybe his wife there and then his children. This man and his priorities just blows my mind. He couldn't stand losing her to some other man. He wanted her to be with him and no one else. He said he really loved her so much and she was so important to him. He couldn't stand losing her. There were some reports that suggested that, this murder was premeditated. And they reported that Evans Karani had thought about this murder before even committing the act. In that, when he found out that Catherine was actually dating the other man, he wanted to kill the other man. But then again, he decided later, no, I'm not going to kill the other man, but I'm going to take out Catherine. So he decided on murdering her so that no one could have her. And the father seems to believe that this is the case, that's the reason why he killed Catherine. It's because, she was over him and she was moving on. And he even said that Catherine was moving on. She didn't want anything to do with him, and that upset him. And that's why he did what he did to his daughter. Oh, let's get to another interesting part here. Some reports, in some reports I've read that Evans Karani made attempts on his life, after, the murder. And his attempts are quite ridiculous. I don't want it to seem that I'm demeaning anybody's mental health, but boy, are they ridiculous. Let me just go over them. So the first attempt, he tried taking poison. When he started, feeling pain from the poison, he brought milk and vomited the poison out. Now, this is after he committed the murder. So he tried taking poison, and after feeling a little bit of pain in his stomach, he bought milk, drank it, was able to recover from that. Now, the second attempt, he tried wrapping, he wrapped a piece of cloth on his neck and tied it to the roof. But he abandoned that midway. He even, to prove that he tried this, he even showed a mark on his neck to the police officer saying that he had tried to take his life or something like that. And another attempt, which I think is the most cartoonish and ridiculous one here, is that he jumped in front of a slow-moving vehicle along Thika Superhighway, hoping to get run over. Spoiler alert, nothing happened, and there was a traffic build-up at the time, and nothing happened. He wasn't hurt because the car was moving at a very slow speed, and he just jumps in front of it like, oh, hit me. That's so ridiculous, really. But I think what did he think would happen when he jumped in front of that? Another attempt, he tried to drown himself in a Kiambu Dam, but his swimming skills, and this is what he said, his swimming skills prevented him from drowning. Can you believe this man? Now let's talk about Evans Karani first time in court. He appeared in court. When he appeared in court the first time, he told the judge that they shouldn't waste time on his case and they should just sentence him already, as he wants to serve his time. Now, the second time, he pleaded not guilty, and he pleaded not guilty after he was advised that if he pleads guilty, he will be put up for the death penalty. So he pleaded not guilty. He's very brazen to actually murder someone, but he's such a coward when it comes to preserving or when his life is in danger, because he pleaded not guilty because of the death penalty. Ridiculous man. So this is what has happened throughout the case. His sentencing has not happened yet. If there is trial, I would definitely let you know. Now, I wanted to highlight the reason why I wanted to highlight this case, it's because of, the very entitlement he felt. It's just a classic case of possessing someone. When you're in a relationship, let me make it clear, nobody owns the other person. You're equally independent and nobody owns the other. What the other person chooses to do, sure, they may do things that hurt you, but at the end of the day, you always have a choice to walk away. He could have walked away and found someone new or a new side chick to continue cheating on his wife with, but he chose this. And when he chose this, he denied his children of a father and denied Catherine's child of a mother. And I think that's quite sad. I just wanted to highlight this case as the number of femicide cases keep increasing in the country and nobody's doing anything. We just state it or report on it as as another statistic, another number in there. I just wanted to highlight this, and I'm hoping that by doing so, we as a society can make small changes that leads to a better life. Women, what are you teaching your boys? Men, what are you teaching your sons? And what are you doing? Men, what are you doing to make the world a little bit better? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want your daughter to be murdered by a man out there. So what are you teaching your children, your men? What are the changes that we can do to make our society better? So that's it from me. I'm hoping that we can make a bit of a change from this. But thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all for tuning in today. I will definitely see you next time with another case.